Hello everyone and welcome to this video, which is again featuring that amazing human component that is my Lichess stuff. So yeah, this is more tactics from my Lichess games at Bullet mainly, and also a tiny bit of Blitz. Another 10 games. We start off with this game that was a Mariotti opening this time, and yeah, White's obviously doing pretty well. Castle King, big lead in development, and some very weak dark squares. So we'll just start it off. Just give you the little bit of a start there. Knight f6, check bishop f6. Now you may spot what I've now played in this position. It's not immediately killing, but it is quite strong. So I played the move bishop takes g6 there, and black played the move queen e7, and I just retreated to d3 because I was I'd spotted something already, and yeah, well, I was very much hoping to get it. So black played the move rook a d8 in this position, hoping to be able to somehow deal with the threats that I've got, and now this is the puzzle. White to play and win. There's one gorgeous main line. There's a side line which just wins for White, but it's the gorgeous main line that I'm particularly looking for. So this one was queen g4 check. It's what I'd thought about when I moved the bishop back to d3. Obviously bishop g5. I've just got f4 and you know, f4 and just pinning the bishop. Just a total win there. But black played the move king h8, and I'll just give you another second just in case, because obviously bishop f6, queen f6 still covers g7, but I've got this lovely move queen g7 check, and the bishop takes, and all of a sudden the bishop's attacking g7. I take on g7 with check, king g8, and now amazingly enough bishop takes h7 is checkmate. I enjoyed that one. It's nice doing it to Bullet, and against yeah, pretty good player, 28, 60, 70 player in Bullet. So yeah, nice to get these sort of things against strong players. This one was another fun one, a wing gambit in the Sicilian, a Mariotti opening. You can see, yeah, you can see why that I'm missing my queen side somehow. Here I decided to break through the centre there, and black played the move queen h4, which at first sight looks quite decent. You know, black's well, actually the white queen can't really avoid the exchange, and obviously there's some queen h1 happening as well. But white's got a very unpleasant little idea here. Can you find it for white? So the idea is this move bishop c5 check, which is really nasty. So king g8, I've got this move knight f6, and yeah, actually the king's just completely bottled up, and yeah, you can't go to I mean, even if you could go to h7, the queen on h4 check would be hanging, but actually all you can do is take the knight on f6 with the queen, then e takes f6. I'm just winning. And the really nice thing is that if king e8, I've got knight c7 checkmate. That's the key thing. Just all those pieces combining nicely to deliver the mate. Again, I do feel that I'm very quick on these. I'm always good. I've always been good tactically. That's always been one of my things. But I feel I'm getting quicker and quicker with queenless mates somehow, after having seen so many Lila Queen odds games. This one's very nice as well. So in this position, it's all looking pretty safe for black. Black's just a pawn up, and played the move castles here. So what was the reply? The nice reply was knight takes c6. The key problem for black is that b takes c6 allows this very well-known mating pattern, bishop a6, with a bishop on f4 covering the king on b8. So black played the move bishop c5 to cover the a7 pawn, but after takes, and now the good move h4 with bishop h3 to swap off black's one of black's two bishops. Yeah, everything was getting exchanged, and yeah, black resigned very quickly afterwards. Just a nice, very typical trick, but always nice when you can place it. Oh yes, sometimes things go well. This was another wing gambit somehow, but I'd kind of got a little bit attacked somehow, and black played the move rook f5, which at first sight looked absolutely decisive. Black's threatening the move rook h5 with check, and that's just going to win the queen. But I've got quite a nice defensive maneuver here. Can you find it? Sometimes you're luckier, and I played the move bishop c1 check, king g7, and bishop e3. And the point is that the queen is trapped. So there's absolutely nowhere for the queen to go. And after rook h5, I took on h5, still threatening the queen on f2, so queen e1 played, sort of desperados here. But I've got this saving queen check, which is very nice. And after king f7, rook e1, I am just winning. So yeah, it was a little bit lucky. I hadn't quite seen it coming what black was doing, but yeah, this last gasp defense with a trapped attacking black queen, always very nice, and just winning for me. Oh, this is just a little tactic here. So yeah, one of my just some random pawn sacrifice that I've made somewhere. I've got the two bishops, it's not too bad, and you know, obviously you've got double pawns on the queen side, you know, it's okay. But black played the move bishop f5, which looks quite decent, getting control of e4. But I cunningly played g4, to which black replied bishop e4, which looks quite decent. Get the bishop active in the centre, and also going to win this pawn on d5. But what had black overlooked? Yeah, these are important to spot. This makes, you know, the massive difference in bullet and blitz, basically, because yeah, you know, if you don't spot them, then not only are you missing a trick, but also, you know, the risk of losing on time later is always there. Whereas this just cuts the game off immediately. It's bishop h6 check, and yeah, the king is defending the queen, so it's just pulling the king away, and then I take that queen on f6. Just very easy tactic, but yeah, important to spot in at these rapid time controls. This is another typical one. So just some random 1e4, e5 opening, and I've sacrificed the pawn, but I'm doing quite well really. I mean, that pawn on d4 will probably go eventually, and my pieces are active. But black played very incautiously castled, and as I said, you do see an awful lot of these. Very important to spot. What is white's tactic here? You see this in all types of openings. 1e4 and 1d4 is bishop h6, with the idea being that after gh6, queen check, check, I go knight g5, and it's curtains. Black has to give up the queen for the knight to prevent mate on h7. But the important thing to realise in this is that it doesn't just end with bishop takes h6. You know, if black sort of ignores it and tries to just develop the pieces, then white follows up with queen g6 and mating on g7. I mean, that's the real huge power of this tactic somehow, and it's one that you come across very, very often. Black just can't stop white from mating on g7 there. This is just an easy little tactic there. So some sort of Caro-Kann position, where, yeah, you know, white's just got yeah, a lot of pressure all the time. Simply the knight on e5 is very strong, and those kingside pawns are quite weak. The fact that the pawn's on h6 and I'm attacking it is quite nasty. But here black was a little bit incautious, played the move bishop d4, trying to challenge that knight. Probably also thinking about knight a4, trying to attack on b2. And here, yeah, just a nice tactic to win some material. See if you can spot it. Yep, it's knight d7 check, just opening up the line of those doubled rooks. Don't often double my rooks, I have to say. I've got a thing about it that it's just not particularly effective, but or that it just often ends up just leading to exchanges on the open file, and you think, well, I could put my rooks more effectively elsewhere or find some other moves. But in this case, it turned out very well. So obviously, queen takes d7, I take with the queen, and then I'll take on e8, and after knight d7, I just took with the rook on there. It's always nice when you win some material and then you're exchanging pieces off, just the next time, and it just, always a good feeling to exchange pieces when you're winning material, and this just won very, very easily indeed for me. This one gave me a little bit of a giggle, really. White is just, clearly well on top here with an absolutely wonderful knight on e5. The black queen side very weak. This pawn on h4 doing a great job. Rook on h6 looking very odd. Black played the move bishop c8, I guess trying to bring the bishop to the defense of the king side, and just allowed a very nice little idea from white. Just one move, just wins material. Knight g4. I don't know, just appealed to me somehow. The forking the queen and the rook, and the point is that if you take on e1, I just take the queen with check. That's the key idea. Always very nice. And well, if you take the knight, then the rook on e8 is hanging. So just a very nice little typical tactic there. Oh, we've got some little pins here. I've had this a couple of times actually. This tactic seems to be hard. Seems to be hard to spot concealed pin somehow. So I played rook e1. I'm a pawn up here, so doing pretty well. But black played the move h6, and now just spot the white tactic here. Yeah, it's just a little bit camouflaged. It's knight takes d5, and you've got two sort of pins that you sort of think, they shouldn't really be pins. One, the bishop on g5 is attacked, and two, there's a bishop on e6 covering the pawn on d5. But yeah, the bishop is pinned to the queen, and the knight is pinned to the queen as well. So that's just a total disaster, basically. And well, black played takes, but what did I do? I played rook e6 and just wrecked black's position a bit more, and won very, very easily indeed. Not quite sure when to stop actually, so I might overshoot a little bit, but bear with me. This was quite a funny little tactic. So again, a Mariotti 2h4 against the modern. Just I do enjoy following Mariotti's openings. It's really really nice somehow. So yeah, black's I'm a little bit I played a slightly unusual setup somehow. I was chasing the black queen a bit all over the place. But the queen's escaped, and it's on d6, threatening to come into h2. And my king on e1, queen on e1, bishop d2 are a bit blocked. But I saw a nice idea. I played bishop f4, just to force e5, and block that diagonal. And then the bishop comes back to e3. And it looks very innocent somehow. I'm just preparing queen d2 and castles. But you might also wonder, what on earth is that rook on b5 doing? It's come from h1. Good question. I was actually chasing a black queen, and, somehow it escaped, but I'm still able to use it in this position. How could I use that rook on b5? Well, strangely enough, the bishop on c5 comes into play here, and the black queen is trapped. I was quite surprised when I saw that as well. The bishop on b3 is cutting it off. The fact that I've blocked in the e5 square, has come in very handy, and the rook on b5 coming in useful to support bishop c5. I won very quickly after takes, and there. And that was it. That was my second set of tactics. Probably a little bit easier this one than the first ones, but still incredibly enjoyable. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed that little selection of tactics from my Lichess games. And yeah, I mean, do stay tuned. I should have a few more of these tactics series. I can find some time to put some together. So do stay tuned for that. Do give a like, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying it. Try and get me up to those 10,000 subscribers. I'm not sure what that gets me, but it does sound like a nice number, doesn't it? And otherwise, thanks very much for watching, and hope to see you at the next videos. Thanks for watching.